going to talk a little bit about spider guard today. Few funny stories before we start, just to put it in a bit of context as well. Spider guard was my nemesis for like several years in adult black belt. I have lost count of the number of semifinals at Worlds and Europeans, whatever, in adult black belt that I lost because I got stuck in some really good women's spider guard. I remember already black belt maybe in 2012 or 13. I was like, okay, you know, fighting middleweight, lightweight, sometimes everyone's doing spider guard. I should be doing spider guard. So I drilled spider guard for 3 months. I still had like a random spider guard. Let's call it that. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. So then I like dropped it. I was like, you know what, forget spider guard. And then I did ended up getting really good at X guard. And then at some point I was like, I have to, you know, somehow along the way, the last few years, things have clicked. And the reason why I think that this is interesting to teach here today is actually because now when I started teaching at my academy, which I did already last month, I started seeing even non-spider guard people getting spider guard to work. So I started seeing my, my stocky 90 kilo white belt men with not much flexibility actually being able to apply spider guard. And then I'm like, okay, now I've understood something. And I hope I pass a little bit of that on today. So, so objective of today is that I'll get into is 3 things. One, I think the spider guard, for anyone who does gi, I think the spider guard is your bread and butter of gi guard. If you don't have a good understanding and base in your spider guard with gi, all the other what I call related open guards, you will probably have a hard time in. That's your lasso, that's your lapel, that's your variations of lasso, lapel, things like that, even your X. So for me, it's not because, you know, the spider guard is amazing or the only thing you should do, but for me, it's a good setup. It's a bread and butter when you want to understand open guards in the gi. So that's why I think this is it's important to show and for everyone to have an understanding of. Colleagues, especially black belt, please, you're welcome to challenge me on that. Maybe I'm wrong, but for me, this is my perception of it. So objective number 1 is I want you to understand why I think it's important to train the spider guard. 2, I'm also going to pass a little bit of how I teach and how I train guards in general. Because right now in Jiu-Jitsu, I still feel that the approach to teaching is sometimes polarized. You still have kind of like the old school Jiu-Jitsu where you come on the mat, the coach shows you 5 techniques, you drill 5 techniques with no resistance, no something, blah, blah, blah. Then you go and you spar with it. And then, that for me, I don't think that's the right way. So for me, I think that doesn't work. And then you have the other end of some people saying, but Jiu-Jitsu, you should only teach concepts. Only teach principles and concepts in Jiu-Jitsu. And then what I see is people teaching concepts and principles in Jiu-Jitsu, but not having a technique to apply it with. Then you have a lot of people just basically, you know, running around like headless chickens that don't really know what they're trying to go for. So my approach is a little bit in the middle. So it's important, you need to understand the concepts and the principles of whatever position you're trying to work with, but especially as you know, as beginners to intermediate, it's important, I think, to have specific movements and techniques that you attach to that concept and principle in the beginning. And then once your brain has wired itself to do it, to understand it, then you will be able to see other opportunities, but you need something to attach it onto. So that's what we're going to do today, is principles and concepts from the spider, but exemplified by some techniques. Then my students are like, oh, but what if I do it this way? I'm like, perfect, great, you find another way, that's fine. It's still within the principle, within the concept, and that's what people start doing. That's one thing. Another thing, and we'll start in just a second, is that when training open guards, the sweeping is the easy part. Okay, sweeps are easy. Now everyone's like, what the hell is she talking about? Right? The hard part is not the sweeping. There are 2 things that are hard. The hard part is recognizing and having control inside that guard position enough to be able to sweep and then once they land on the butt is actually securing the sweep. The actual sweep, I think, is the easy part. So what we're going to focus on today, which again I think is something that is not focused on enough when training guard, it's not guard recovery. It's not like, oh, the guy's passing your guard, but what I call guard retention or guard control. Before you attack, you cannot be defensive. You need to understand how to control it. People aren't going to be static and just be like, yeah, triangle me, yeah, sweep me. No, they're going to be moving. So how do you keep that control, in this case, in the spider guard, so you are comfortable enough, so you're in that position long enough time to be able to start applying things to be able to sweep. Okay? Okay, awesome. Okay, that was enough talking. Let's start. I didn't even pick someone. Let's see. Sorry, what's your name?
Ira.
Hey, girls always good because they're used to doing spider guard. So I know probably you're going to be smart. So, on your knees. So, we're going to do spider guard where a training partner is on our knees today. Why? Because for me, spider you can do standing and down. But in a context of learning the position right now, it also simplifies it a little bit because it slows her down. And right now we want to put things in a way where we can learn them and slow it down a little bit, so we're going to start with the knees. The first concept, number one, that we need to understand here from spider guard is I want 3 points of inside control. 3 points of inside control. What does that mean? That means that I want to be using, if I only have 2, what happens? She starts grabbing my legs and starts probably passing straight, right? So if I only have here, she can pass. If I only have here as well, if I don't have, I have 2 here, but same thing. So I want at least 3. If I have 4, that's great, but usually I will start switching things, etc. But I need 3. Again, the same thing if I have, an arm and a leg here, but I have nothing holding this side. Everything's open there, right? So 1, 2, 3 points of control contact, and on the inside. On the inside, okay? So every time, this means what? Every time she starts working anything on the inside, she will start trying to get on the inside of me. So she's gonna try and get her arm. This is gonna start killing me. So every time she does that, I need to regain inside control. Every time she starts making a grip on my pant, she can start pushing it away. I need to regrip, and I need to get on the inside again. Okay? So the first exercise I want everyone to do is just that, is 2 things. 1, from here, or from here you can put 1 foot on the bicep. We'll get to that in the next one. It doesn't matter. You're going to give enough space that your training partner can get on the inside. For example, in here. So when the arm is in here, what do? I pummel my leg. Boom. Pummel in here. There's 2 ways to pummel. 1, outside foot and in. The other way, especially for those who are not so flexible, is you put your knee in. But I need to find a way to get my leg on the inside again. So that's one thing. She's just going to go in here. I'm going to come in here. Okay? Other thing she's going to do is she's going to grab the pants here, and I need to get that away because this is dangerous. Now I don't have my control anymore. The way I do that is I make the grip, I kick at the same time as I pull towards me. It's not a like, come on. No, it has to be a pull and a kick at the same time. Same thing. Now I get back to the inside. Okay? So start inside control, 3 points. Either the hand goes on the inside or the hand grips the pant, and you have to regain your inside control with the 3 points. Make sense? Okay, go ahead.
Like this? This would be one. So we are rarely.
So that was principle number 1, 3 points of inside control, okay? And we kept things simple by staying on the knees, but this is going to be the same if she stands up. I'm going to be doing the same thing. Okay, anytime she gets on the inside or makes a grip or anything like that, I'm going to have to regain my inside control. So it doesn't matter if it's up or down, I'm going to be doing 3 points and I'm going to be on the inside. Okay? Next principle. Let's call it connected tension. Okay? And I think for me, this is what has made the biggest difference also in working the guard, is understanding this connected tension. Now we're connected, but I have no tension. If she starts moving around now, I have no structure, I have no tension. Now we're connected, but now I'm stiff. Okay, this isn't tension. Tension isn't being as stiff as you can be. So now I'm like, so at some point she's just gonna wait, and then at some point I'm gonna get tired and she's gonna move, and then I'm gonna have nothing. So I need to find how to be connected with tension in a relaxed way. Especially after you stand up. This especially easy to see here. Now I'm connected. Now I'm stiff, but actually the tension's not good. So 2 things we work on here for connected tension. 1, the grip. Yeah, I make the traditional, whatever this, sleeve grip is. Some people are good with the pistol grip. I've never become great friends with the pistol grip, so I do like this. But here comes the secret to having a good grip here. Look at my hand. Okay? When I'm here and she pulls towards, look what happens. Ugh. When I'm here and she pulls. So the first connection that I'm making here is actually not, I'm not thinking about connecting to her arm, yeah, with this, but I'm thinking of engaging my back. So whoever lifts weights or something, no one's going to deadlift heavy the weight out here, right? So I bring things in. So I activate my back here. Now it's my back holding the grip. It's not my really bad fingers. It's less my grip, my forearms. Now it's my back. Now it's my back working against her arm and her back. Okay, so number 1 of your connected tension is turn the hand, palm up, lock. You need to feel this muscle activate. Lock your back in. It doesn't matter if she's up or if she comes down on the knees again. Now for her to take the grip out, it's different. Here, you see people doing spider guard like this, and they're like, coach, my spider guard doesn't work. No, you don't have connection, you don't have tension. Here, something else. Number 2 is I need to use my legs as well. So number 1 connection is here and locking in my back. Number 2 connection is making myself heavy on her by hanging on her. So I like to have 1 foot on the hip, for example, and again, it doesn't matter if she's on her knees or standing up. And I like to have 1 foot on the bicep. Everyone knows this, spider guard, common, right? But now look what I do. I lift my hip off the floor. So if I'm like this and she starts moving over this side, she's stuck on this one. But look, she can move, right? If I start, now I'm going to hang. I'm going to like step down on the crease of her elbow. Crease of her elbow, I'm going to step down like this. Now move on that side. Now she's going to be working hard. I've locked her in on both. This one's locked in my back, the other one's in my back, plus I'm stepping down on her. So now I'm getting heavy. So she's going to get tired. Once she gets tired, then I can attack. So this is part of, again, I need to understand how to control the position before I start sweeping. I'm not just going to be like, sweep. No, we're going to fight for it, okay? So I need to be comfortable there. So next drill we're doing, foot on the hip, foot on the bicep, palm up, palm up. Now what I want to see here is movement, because we need to practice things with movement. So again, it's not about being stiff. I know she's going to start doing stuff. She will break the grip and start coming in on the inside of the leg. Okay, fine, I have to figure out how to change, do something else. So we're keeping the 3 points of inside control. Now we're adding connection, palm up and back, connection, stepping into the crease of the bicep, and I'm giving enough space for her to move because I need to train how to keep control of the position. I need to understand she's going to move, she's going to break a grip, she's going to come on the inside, and I need to regain that control one piece at a time every time I lose one piece. So it's going to look like this. Oh, we start here. I'm going to be loose enough that, okay, maybe I have to go here. Bring her in, now maybe I have to go here. Okay, she comes in, fine, boom, boom. Okay, so put movement into it. Keep the 3 points of inside control, the connected tension. And remember, when we drill like this, it's her responsibility to give me the right reaction. Okay, so now I've trained this enough, she can move a lot. If she goes with someone who has never trained this before, she has to take the tempo down. The training is for me, so she has to give me as much reaction as I can always follow. If it goes too fast, slow it down, give the person a break, 2 seconds. Sometimes, you need like, I'm almost there, what was it I had to do? Oh yeah, break the grip, come on the inside. So give your training partner movement and give them that opening, that time to stop, think, what is it I have to do? Okay? Let's try that, go ahead. Step down. Yes, this is not.
That's fine. Can I come out?
Any questions on that? It's looking good?
What do you do if they really stand up completely? So now is it a problem? Like if I lift the hip and you have like something very heavy and strong, and I stand up and start doing this.
Yeah. So I think we had the same thing over there. So again, also positions will have their limits, and will have their limits also depending on who you're going with. Now let me get someone that's bigger. Oh, come here, you're a little bit bigger. So when you're saying here, and then they start coming close. Yeah. So I need to recognize when things are getting dangerous. So I need to make sure I can keep distance. Two ways I can do that. One, of course, if they start coming in, I will probably take the foot off the bicep. That will stop them a little bit, because if they keep on going, then that will happen. So they will stop. Another thing that's super important. Another thing that's super important here is I learn how to move backwards with my hips off the floor. So the other thing I do is I start wiggling. Okay, I need always to be conscious of distance control. I don't want people getting too far. So of course, if he starts getting far, if he starts moving away from me, I have to chase. But the same way, I don't want people getting too close. So then I have to move back. So distance control in it is super important. So yeah, so I don't know if that answered. Yeah, you can put the foot back on the hip, you can wiggle back. Depending on the angle, maybe if they come all the way in and they're open, I would be like, okay, thank you, you just gave me X guard instead. If I can come under the legs. Okay. Where did we get to? Yeah, okay. So this was a little bit about how to guard, what I call this guard control / retention, right? I need to be comfortable in this position, but I may be able to sweep after 10 seconds, or maybe it's going to take me 2-3 minutes of grip fighting and all that. The more you train this and the more advanced guard you have, like I said, spider is an example. So of course, stand up. of course, and some of you are doing it already, you're going to start combining with the lasso, you're going to grab the pants instead, you're going to grab the lapel. This is fine. Play with it, okay? This is when people's open spider guard gets dangerous, is when they manage to do this. But look, the concepts are going to be the same. I'm always going to have 3 points at least. I can't switch 2 things at a time. I can't be like, okay, I switch both of this here. No, because it's gone. So the concept of it is going to be the same. The tension here is going to be the same. Locking in, the tension with the foot, locking in. I'm going to be on the inside. The grips, it's going to be you playing with it, okay? Let's move on to the fun part. Everyone wants to sweep, right? So one drill before we get to the actual sweeps, just to make sure everyone understands hip movement here. Super important, if you want to have a good open guard, you know how to move your hips in and out, back and forth, side to side. So we're going to do that now. I'm going to have the feet on the hip. I'm going to go hip out, open, back to the middle. Okay? In jiu-jitsu as well, before we start applying techniques, we need to understand the movement. Right? Everyone comes in the first class, you learn how to shrimp. Why? Because everyone can stand with the feet, no one knows how to shrimp. Same thing, every position will have movement patterns that you need to understand before you even start looking at the sweep or the technique or anything like that. So super important movement pattern of the spider guard is being able to switch your hip one side, other side at the same time as I open this up. We'll get back to how we open this up. Right now, all I want to see is the hip movement and the change back and forth, okay? So, without further explanation of that part, just forget all the other movements and concept right now. I only want to see this movement, foot on the bicep, hip out, side to side. Okay? Let's go.
Start on the hips. Now from here.
Let's fix a few things about the movement here. And now this movement, we're starting to understand it because we're going to start putting it into the context of a sweep now. So 2 things. When I want to sweep from an open guard, I want to load the weight to my legs. I want to load the weight on my legs because then she'll be light on her toes. People are light on their toes. They get off balance, easy to sweep. This is the part where it's getting, okay. So I want to load on my legs. I don't want to rely on flexibility. So from here, and I want to start off balancing her. So from here, look, before I said I was stepping down here on the crease of the elbow, right, to be heavy. Now I'm going to do the opposite. I need to be on the crease of the elbow, not on the shoulder. Foot on the shoulder is excellent for defense. Okay? People start getting close from the knees here. Perfect. Perfect. Foot on the shoulder, awesome for defense. But I'm never going to load any weight. I'm never going to get her weight off her hips if I'm pushing that way, right? So, look, now I think of putting the outside, this part of my foot is in the crease of her elbow. Now I'm doing, I'm doing like a circular kick here. I'm doing this movement, not this, this. So what's going to happen is the outside of my foot is going to lift her elbow over here, diagonally. I'll take the other arm in a second. By doing that, I'm not relying on being super flexible and bringing her over me. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Everyone can do this. All I'm doing is this. Okay? Everyone, even non-flexible people, can usually put their leg in this angle. I'm not asking you to do this or like, So you need to feel that it's actually the outside of your foot here that is, and I'm having the tension, that's why I can do it, is going over there, diagonal. diagonal, okay? Now this is what I'm saying, sweeping is easy. If I can load the weight here, boom, she's already on her way. The other thing I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna be like, okay, now I want you all the way. I pull this to my ear, and I can either, if I'm flexible, I can push on the knee. If I'm not, just block the knee. Easy, right? Super simple. And I've been hanging around here. She's gotten tired of, now she's getting tired. Her base is getting bad. Okay? So this one pulls into my ear. This one kicks up diagonally over there. Block. Now, I don't want to be greedy. It feels great to be like, yeah, I'm going to get mount. But anyone who has just like an ounce of guard recovery is just going to catch my leg there, right? So I'm not gonna get greedy and try and mount from here. Block the hip. Come in. So one more time. Same thing here. Boom. Open up diagonally. Block. Let go of this one. Block the hip. Come in. Let's try that. Yeah. Questions? I took a few around. One thing I'll repeat, but questions so far. Yeah.
How far or how close should you be to sweep the person? Because I have the feeling I was too far away.
Awesome question. I can't tell you that. You're going to have to understand your own. That's where, I can't tell you the answers. You have to experiment. So if it feels far, it probably is far. If it feels too close, it's probably close. Because that's always going to depend on the length of your leg and the length of my body and things like that. So those things in far and, that you have to try out yourself. But one thing I did notice, so remember we started doing this exercise with the hip out, okay? So I need you all to focus a bit more on having the hip out because I'm seeing a few of you a little bit flat on your back here, trying to do it here and then like, this isn't working. But look, where am I pushing her now? Where's the foot going? It's going straight up or it's going back. Now it's just gonna get me past, right? Maybe if I'm, if I have like super good hamstrings and I'm really flexible, can I pull her in? Do you see people sweep like this? Yes. But the effort I'm doing to do it and the degree of flexibility I need to pull her this way means I need to be comfortable in this position. Not everyone is. Look, hip out, lying on my side. This flexibility, everyone has. So now, there, okay? So remember, we don't want to be, we can be flat on our shoulders when I'm hanging and controlling here, but when I start wanting to sweep, I need to come out to the side. I need to get to be on one side, and I need to have my hip out a little bit. Or I'm just gonna be like, powering up, okay? So that was a most simple spider guard sweep there is. Third principle for the last 7-8 minutes now is usually your first sweep will never work anyway, okay? Just not. So what we want to train in open spider guard in general, but especially the more open ones, is we want to train action-reaction. So I need to understand action-reaction. I need to understand what is she going to do. And then the way I train this, the way I'm going to drill it with my good training partners is, okay, we're going to train those reactions so I can be faster because I know what's coming. And this is why we started going from side to side, because a lot of times what happens is what? Boom, I come out here. What does she do? She starts closing the elbow and over-committing. And then I have to change to the other side. There's only so many things she can do. So once she starts opening up here, right? I'm like, okay, I don't want to go there. Maybe I think I've actually, I was talking with Francesco about this earlier. I think I've nose planted or face planted here. So that's where it was. Yeah, so you might be able to save it off this. Okay, you might be able to face plant off it. But most people will also start defending the other way. So most people will be, if they're being swept over there, they're gonna be like, hell no. Boom. And then you sweep the other way. Sometimes you won't manage to get the foot on the bicep on the other side. Just do it slow. So sometimes, boom, I start going there, she goes to the other side. Sometimes it's just this. Sometimes it's a simple, just simple scissor, not even loading the weight, but I know I'm using her momentum to do it. So that's one. We're going to train 2 reactions right now. One of them is she overcommits on her defense to the other side. Next thing that happens, because I saw this in my gym when I started teaching, is then everyone's like, okay, I'm not going to close my elbow and overcommit. I'm just going to like stiffen up. So then they just like stiffen up and like, okay, not going anywhere. No, okay, so you want to stiffen up there? Fine. Fine, then you just gave me the Superman position, right? Straight into the triangle. So you're gonna make openings, action, reaction, to capitalize on their wrong defense. And this is where I think, this is where the jiu-jitsu is fun as well. It's the chess, it's, how many defenses, how many action reactions ahead are you going to be able to build upon? But for me, it comes back to these principles and having some movements to attach them to and techniques. And then you can start building your flow chart of action reactions of what you prefer to do. But there's also only so many ways you can sweep her. Like, there's 360 degrees. We usually like this way, that way, backward, forward, So let's train this for the last few minutes here. So your training partner on top is going to give you both reactions. Is either going to give you the overcommitting back to the other side, or is going to give you the I'm big and strong and I'm just going to stiffen up and you're not going to sweep me anywhere. Okay, fine. And then you'll triangle instead. Okay, so let's play with them both. Let's go. Like roundhouse kick. Yes, there. Get rid of the sure this one comes here, so not in the way. Yes. Pull this to your ear. To your ear. That's fine. Or like that. Exactly. Yes, there you go. One thing super important I forgot to say as well is that, look, when you go for the sweep, you go for the sweep. What does that mean? I can't just like hang around with my leg extended here, because it's going to be the same as like if you kick or punch someone, you're going to punch from here, you're going to kick from here. You're not going to be like, you're going to be like half extended cross, and then you're going to be, yeah, now I'm going to punch you. No, okay. The same thing with the sweep. That's why my base posture in it is here. It's like, okay, it's bent but with tension. Then when I go for the whole thing. Then I go for it at once. I cannot like stop halfway. You see, this is where you stop halfway. This is where you see people grab the pants, stuff the leg down, and get past. So when you go, you go. The last thing. Any questions? If not, yeah, I'm still here the next few days. So I hope this gave like a little introduction to why I think it's important to play with these things from Spider Guard as a good example of an open gi guard, and from there you can branch off into all sorts of fancy stuff. And also think about how you train this. Think about more about the way you control the position, and less about if you know 10 different fancy sweeps from there. If you can't hold and control the position for 3-4 minutes with someone your level, you won't get the sweep. And the 3 principles: tension, connected tension, inside. 3 points inside, action, reaction. Okay? That's it for today. Let's take a picture and then have some dinner.